Is that overall a positive thing, Dr. Ball? You've been fighting these guys for 20 years. Any words of encouragement? I mean, is ClimateGate a victory? Where is this going?
Okay, a problem's only a problem if you're not aware of it. And the fact that the problem's now been identified means that you're halfway there to resolving it. And one of the things, of course, that they've been doing, besides this machinations of UN and all the rest of it, but they've been end-running the legal processes within different countries. So, for example, they got the Supreme Court to rule that CO2 is a toxic substance, which allowed the EPA and Lisa Jackson, who's a chemical engineer and should know better, CO2 is not a toxic substance, but it allowed them then to come in with this draconian legislation to shut down industries whenever they choose. And so that sort of thing... what's going on here, Alex, is that they knew they had to operate very quickly. It's a very poor analogy, but it's a bit like, when you take that Band-Aid off, you're better just to rip her off quick and suffer the pain. And by the way, they learned this from Jimmy Carter, because Carter talked about this in his book. He said if you don't make changes very, very quickly, you're effectively accepting the status quo. And so, of course, Obama's gone in there and ignored everything. He's ignored, he got himself elected under false pretenses as a sort of center-left Democrat. Underneath, of course, he was extreme left all the way along. Now he's had to expose that. And, of course, but in doing that, you show your hand. And, of course, that is the good side of it. And so, as I said, the fact we've defined the problem and people can now move to deal with it. One of the things that the public can react to, and by the way, what we're seeing, Alex, is that the Internet is taking democracy and not just in a political sense, but in the sense of power is control of information. In the old days, the kings, the queens, and you got rid of them, rightfully so, because they were controlling the information and the power. And now you've got the situation where Congress, your own elected people are doing it, but through the Internet, that is making information available to the folks, as they would say. And it is democratizing information. And so there are a million and more eyes watching everything that goes on. And therefore, you really can't get away with anything. And it's not in the sense of spying, but it's in the sense of basic openness, which, of course, is what the founding fathers in the U.S. had in mind.
And the people have gotten their healthy mistrust of government and power back that Thomas Jefferson talked about being so essential. And so now the layers of lies are being peeled back, and a lot of the denial is ending. The end of childhood for our society is coming, and people are growing up.
Oh, I would agree. But the second layer of this, of course, is that you've got the politicians doing what they're doing. But, as I just mentioned, Lisa Jackson...
The bureaucrats.
The bureaucrats. The enemy is within.
Stay there. That's right. I mean, most states in the U.S. are implementing Kyoto taxes right now, and they haven't even ratified it. They're just doing it. These people are lawless scum. Stay with us. Hundreds of nations have fallen to tyranny in the last century alone. This is our last chance to not relive history.
As they're finishing off this agenda, they'll be pulling the rug from underneath Americans at home.
They have tremendous influence on our president and Congress, and they really are calling the shots.
I think it's incumbent upon all of us as American citizens to pay attention.
Fall of the Republic identifies the enemies of our nation, the criminal offshore cartel, hell-bent on destroying sovereignty, and on its ashes constructing world government.
Tim Geithner, Bernanke, they're arsonists. They're asking for more matches. And the Congress is saying, who do we make the check out to?
Today, seems like nobody does care. And right now in Washington, D.C., we have seen a fall of the Republic.
Get your copy of Fall of the Republic on DVD at Infowars.com or watch it online right now in super high quality at prisonplanet.tv. Hello, this is Alex Jones with some important questions. If you're going into a battle and they give you a rifle and a sidearm, how much ammunition do you want?
My answer would be all I can get. In the battle for freedom and the lives of your loved ones, food is your only ammunition. How much do you want? When do you want it? Now or after the battle starts? When will you need it? Can you buy it without proper identification? Will there be any food? Will it make your children sick? If there's a quarantine and you can't feed yourself, will you go to the gathering center and be immunized? You wipe out all these problems if you have a good food supply. Food is your ammunition to fight for your freedom and your life. How much will you need? We don't know. How much do you want? All you can get. I'm Alex Jones. I want all of you good guys to live to fight another day. Call 1-800-409-5633 or check it out on the web at efoodsdirect.com. Again, that number, 1-800-409-5633.
This is Alex Jones, and I want to tell you about the Ecola Blue atmospheric water generator that produces pure drinking water right from the humidity in the air. No, this isn't science fiction. It's very real. I know because I use one every day in my own home, and it's available right now to you. Because you know exactly where your water comes from with Ecola Blue, you'll know what's in your cup. Clean, great-tasting water without all the pollutants. Get your family off the grid today by ordering your own Ecola Blue atmospheric water generator for your home or business. Their best seller, the Ecola Blue 28, produces up to 7 gallons of water every day. The Ecola Blue 28 is easy to use and economical. Generate your own pure water from the humidity in the air. This system is free of chemicals and uses a multi-stage filtration system, including reverse osmosis, carbon filters, and ultraviolet lights. Order now and claim your water independence today by calling Ecola Blue at 1-800-691-6043. That's 1-800-691-6043. Or visit Ecola Blue on the web at www.ecoloblu.com today.
Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
Climatologist Dr. Tim Ball is our guest. We've got a reporter for the last 20, 30 minutes of the show joining us from Copenhagen, Denmark. He's done a lot of exclusive interviews with Lord Monckton and others. We're going to get his take on that from Denmark. We were pretty much covering this 24/7, the takeover of healthcare as part of the government power grab. And we're going to be taking your phone calls coming up here in just a few minutes, 1-800-259-9231. You were getting into the bureaucracy, evidenced by state governments, regional governments. These internationalists always get regional governments in place because they control them. Through international SPP meetings, North American Union meetings. They are already implementing this. And you're right, that's our big problem. And think of the arrogance of the EPA saying, Congress, if you don't let us list all these gases, we'll just do it without you. Congress should immediately start impeachment proceedings against Barack Obama.
Well, and of course, the Founding Fathers had an awareness of this in that, as you know, the U.S., unlike other countries in the world, several of your bureaucratic positions are elected officials. And so that was a degree of accountability that other countries' bureaucracies don't have. So, for example, in Canada, we don't even get to vote for the Prime Minister, let alone to vote for who's going to be the person in charge of the police departments or whatever else, the sheriffs and so on. So the Founding Fathers were aware of this. Of course, what they couldn't understand, or couldn't know, I should say, they understood an awful lot, but what they couldn't know was the extent of growth of government but also this idea about environmentalism, because one of the things I've discovered, Alex, is that we now have all of those graduates of environmental studies programs with no scientific background whatsoever, just, feel-good, touchy-feely. They're now running a lot of these bureaucracies, and they're using those bureaucracies to introduce their own personal biases and political...
And these I've met them. They are control freak persecutors. Yep. They are the new guilds to inspect our homes, our farms, our ranches, our factories, to literally rule our lives. These are all, I've met them, eugenicists who hate humanity and are burning with a dark light of control freakism.
Well, I'll tell you, give you an example in Canada here, on the west coast of Canada here, of course,